Welcome to a Step 8 meditation. Allow yourself to find the most comfortable position, a position that allows you to be still, both internally and externally. Before we begin, take 3 deep, cleansing breaths as we recognize that breath connects us to the present, to the here and the now. Many profess that the principle of Step 8 is discipline. Oftentimes, discipline is thought of as a form of punishment. However, in this case, that is not what we are thinking. It is not about being punished. It is about making our lives simpler, more straightforward for ourselves. Discipline is making a choice and sticking to that choice in the actions that we take each and every day. Remember, as your mind wanders, that is what the mind will do. It is the mind's purpose to think, to process, to do all manner of tasks. That does not make those thoughts you. Those thoughts are simply a product of the mind. They do not define you. They do not have to tell you what to do or tell you what not to do. They are simply thoughts, inherently of the same value. Thoughts. Allow them to come, to stay, or to go. And if you need to, you can always return to your breath. If you found that you've wandered too far into your mind's stories, you can stop at any time and return to your breath. There is no need to stop the thinking, for the mind needs to think. We simply focus on our breath. This is discipline. We may want to choose to not ruminate, to not worry. We may try to choose to not feel negative emotions or think negative thoughts. That might be our first mistake. Resistance to those thoughts. For in our resistance, those thoughts become much more persistent. You see, by resisting, you are encouraging. You are fighting. And that is your choice. And if you choose not to, then you may return to your breath, instead of following the stories to wherever they go. Usually very familiar places. As we recognize, the mind can only visit the past. It has no future to visit. It will create a future based on this past. And it will do what it must. We do not have to follow it. We can choose to be disciplined in our approach to our inner and outer lives. Always returning to your breath. You may want to focus on your breath and simply allow my voice to float and flutter in and out. There is no need to focus on my words any more than you need to focus on your thoughts. We simply allow them to be there. We neither encourage nor resist. We allow and return to our breath. Step 8 asks us to make a list. A list of people we had harmed in our lives. Perhaps we are still harming some. We allow all the thoughts the mind will start pushing forward to simply be. And we return to our breath, allowing the sound of my voice and whatever words I speak to simply float in and out of the mind's eye. We allow, for that is the mind's job. This list feels daunting in our minds. As our minds begin to ruminate, roll over, deeply investigate, become hypersensitive, we allow our mind to do what it must. And as we return to our breath, we may also return to the list, a list of people we have harmed. And we may not want to put all of the people on this list. We will ask ourselves, but did they not hurt us first? Or did they not hurt us as well? And all of those questions we allow. We return to our breath and the list, regardless of what the mind puts forward. We allow ourselves the freedom to feel that which we need to feel. The guilt, the pain, the remorse of those things that we have done to those people. And it is in our deepest parts of us that we pray and hope to not continue many of these behaviors. And that is why we must accept what we have done, what has been done to us. We don't need to resist or encourage, we simply allow our memories of people, places, and things, some of which bring us discomfort when they arise in our mind. And when they come to mind, And when we feel discomfort, we may return to our breath, allowing discomfort to exist, for we know that it shall pass in and out of us, in and out of the mind's eye. And we return to our list to ensure that it is thorough, and we remember and allow this list. For it is simply a list with names and stories on it. Names and stories that one day we may find ourselves face to face in love, with respect and acceptance and allowance for not only ourselves, but for the others. We may find with this list that we have a hard time looking at ourselves as we have looked at those who have harmed us and who we have harmed. We allow the recognition. We accept that we are like others, that we have caused harm, and that we are trying to stop. That we no longer wish to repeat these harms. We allow the thoughts to come, stay, and to go as we acknowledge and accept that we are human, like every other human on this list. We have deep flaws and bright, wonderful assets, like each of the people on our list. Even though we may only have encountered their defects, just as they may have encountered ours. And we return to our breath. We allow us all to be together. This does not make it okay what we or they have done. Some of those things will not be okay. Some of those things we will carry, and we will allow them to exist as long as they need to in our mind. We can see the benefits of not following those stories to where they always lead. That instead, we return to breath and purpose. And we allow. We no longer need to punish ourselves, nor do we need to punish anyone on the list. That is not our job. Our job is to allow and accept what is. And to become disciplined enough to return to breath. When our thoughts are in the way of growth, of love, and of expression of our humanness. We may choose to go back to our breath at any time, on any day. As we come to the end of our Step 8 meditation, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering and the causes of your suffering. May we be free from our suffering and the causes of our suffering. Allow yourself time to return to body. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, clench and release your muscles. And take a deep, cleansing breath. Thank you for joining me in this meditation.